company mission to make great shoes for remarkable athletes was established by the two men who founded what was first called the Blue Ribbon Sports Company, Phil "Buck" Knight and Bill Bowerman. When they met in the mid-1950s at the University of Oregon, Knight was a 17-year-old middle-distance runner. Bowerman was his demanding coach. In an effort to find the most efficient shoes for his runners, Bowerman obsessively tore apart and rebuilt their shoes. Even his wife's waffle iron wasn't safe from his quest for the perfect sole.
He was talking to his wife, looking at the pattern in that waffle iron. Waited till she went to church, by the way, and then took the waffle iron out in the garage and poured some latex stuff in it and baked himself some sheets of waffle, inverted the sheets, and came and started to make some samples with that waffle pattern.
For Bowerman, no shoes were good enough or light enough.
I used to go present to the board of directors as a young designer. I'd go in, and Bill Bowerman would come in with his old briefcase, and then he would pull out a postage scale. So I would hand the shoe down, Bill would take it and put it on the scale, and invariably say, "Is this the best you can do?"
Phil Knight had his own obsessions. He felt sure Bowerman's designs could make money.
He thought that Bowerman's ideas on footwear could be taken to Japan to find a company that could make those shoes, bring them into the U.S., sell to U.S. runners, and compete with the shoes coming from Germany. It was that simple.
So in 1959, while enrolled in Stanford's business school, Knight wrote a paper that became the blueprint for Nike.
What did you get on that paper?
I got an A on the paper.
You did get an A on the paper?
And that helped because obviously it was sort of an offbeat idea on how to make inroads into the athletic shoe business.
Right. And did you really think you could implement it?
Yeah, I was too dumb to know better.
After graduating, Knight took off for Japan, where he made a deal with the Onitsuka Company to distribute Tigers, their little-known brand of track shoes. Back in the States, he sold the shoes at track meets from the back seat of his car. Yet his long-term goal was anything but humble: the domination of the American athletic shoe market. In 1972, Knight and his team committed to debuting a new line, but they had no name and no logo. An employee came up with the name in the most unlikely of ways.
He literally woke up in the morning and sat up in bed and blurted out the name Nike. He wrote it down on a piece of paper. He says, "I got the name. Nike, it's Greek, means victory." He said, "What a perfect name."
For the logo, Knight turned to a local design student named Carolyn Davidson.
So I just went to the graphic arts department at Portland State, and there was a woman looking for, a young lady looking for a way to pay for her dress for the dance in a month. And so we paid her $2 an hour to come up with the mark.
And she shows you basically a sheet of bloated check marks.
Yeah, in 25 words or less, that's right. That she had several renditions of what ultimately became the swoosh, and we kept saying, narrow it here, narrow it there, change it there, and well, I guess 17 and a half hours later, we had it.
The price Knight paid for the iconic logo? $35. Throughout the 70s, Knight moved aggressively to beat back the hold his arch-enemy Adidas had on the American market. He used groundbreaking and irreverent advertising that would eventually help establish the Nike brand. Knight also tapped a roster of superstars, none more famous than a kid from the University of North Carolina. And not long after Michael Jordan came on board, Nike overtook Adidas to become the #1 athletic shoe company in America. Phil Knight's dream had become a reality. Today, with annual sales of more than $16 billion, the company is stronger than ever. Nike owns more than a third of the world's athletic shoe business, soundly topping its closest competitor, Adidas. And with $600 million in sales, upstart Under Armour has made Nike sweat, but only a little.
We're fierce competitors, and whenever you're that good, you always have detractors, always. And we say, bring it on. I think that unnerves some people because we're very powerful, we're very successful, we're very smart.
And very rich. Phil Knight has a net worth estimated at $9.5 billion. Nike now sells nearly 13,000 different products, made by 750,000 factory workers around the world. The company is staking its future on the global marketplace. Nearly half of its sales come from beyond the border. soccer alone bringing in $1.5 billion a year. But with Nike's tremendous size and success comes the danger of complacency.
How does Nike stay hungry now that it's in what some people will say the best position of its life?
Well, it's a very, very competitive business, and every 6 months is a new life. And if you're not a little bit nervous about the next 6 months, you don't know what's going on. And I think we've had enough people around here that have spent their lives in this business that they know what it is to have a bad 6 months or a bad year or a bad couple of years, and we don't want those again. So they'll keep reminding people.